Alright, I think we are now live. Um, Let me know how the audio is. What I'm going to do is we're going to start off with some updates. Well, actually, first I'm going to just post on Twitter, let everyone know that the stream is now live. And I'm going to start with some updates on stuff that we've been working on. Huh. Hey, yeah, game critique. Are you talking about Main Jai? Were you talking about the one with Matthew last Friday? By the way, we're not going to have a game critique this Friday. I've got something going on, so I won't be able to make it. But anyway, what's kind of cool is today, August 31st. This means I've been streaming. Ah, thank you. Game development stream, 2015. I knew something was off. Let me update the channel and the title. Anyway, as I was saying, August 31st, this means we've actually been streaming every weekday for 2 months straight now, which is kind of cool. Alright, so we kind of what I've been doing today is going back and reorganizing all of the tree and line systems. So basically, as we've kind of added some of the new features with the water, the trees kind of got broken up, and I've gone back and refixed them and sort of discovered a bunch of issues in the process. One is that basically if so right now you see the way these trees are set up, they have these boxes that can grow on them. They're fruit, which we can use and combine with the water to grow more trees. I'll show you guys in a bit how that all works. So the thing is, we need every tree. Eventually we're going to have every tree be more or less unique. We're going to write a tree generator, and that's going to we're going to like choose the input, the height, the width, the depth, and then it's going to generate a tree based on those parameters, with a certain rule set. But the thing is, the placement of the cubes is really important, because depending on how the level is, the player, maybe in some positions the boxes are more visible. We also need the height to be, like these boxes, the player can pick them up when they're standing on the ground. If we bring a box up higher like this, the player needs to climb up the tree to pick the box. We also have this setup. So what this is basically, sometimes the fruit doesn't start on the tree. Sometimes it starts on the ground. So in this case, it's like when you start the level, the fruit has already been picked and is here instead of right here. And this is important because, oh man, sorry about that. I will see you later, Zalans. Hopefully, oh man. Yeah, hopefully we get quality setting soon. I will bug people at TwitchCon. But, so yeah, sometimes the cubes start off on the ground. So basically, we sort of need the system where you need the cube, you need the tree. So now, and the thing is, we don't have these, so these are the spawn points. Now, the way they're set up is we have the tree and the spawn points both inside a parent object called the tree SG combo. And the reason why we do this, instead of putting the origin points as children of the tree, is because of the way Unity prefabs work. We run the risk of accidentally hitting apply, and then what that would do is that would kind of merge those origin points into the tree prefab itself, and then it would get applied to all the other instances, which is not something that we want. So that's what we're going with this setup right now. Now, I do think that, though now that I think about it, maybe when we do have a uniquely generated trees, and the trees themselves wouldn't actually be prefabs. So then we can actually have these origin points as children of the tree, but right now we don't have. Right now we're still using prefabs, so this is what we're doing, and we were having this one problem where the Unity scene view would go completely black, and it turns out what was going on was that in our tree script, it was actually cube spawner. Yeah, so it had this. It was looking for this tree cube spawner, and the way this was getting called was in the tree controller script. So you can see what this is it's on the it takes the parent of the tree, it gets the tree, which is the transform, it gets the parent, which is the parent object that it's in, and then it gets all the components and children that have the tree cube spawner. So what it does is the script is here, it goes up to the tree SG combo, gets its children, these origin points that have the tree cube spawner script attached to it, the component. But when it doesn't find it, Unity's editor kind of goes all crazy. So it was causing a lot of problems. It was causing this huge drop in frame rate. And it was just because we had these trees that were around without the parent component. So now that's obviously, that's not good, right? To have, it's not good to have this hierarchy mistake lead to the editor being totally unusable. All that it should do is it should just be like, hey, I'm missing a parent, you need to set this up correctly, but not 999 messages that don't tell us what's going on. So anyway, that's something. It took a while to figure that out, but we did, and that's we're gonna fix that. The other thing is sometimes what happens. So right now you see we have these cube square activators, and each one of them is connected to the line, right? So you want to put a box on this, and this, when this is on, it triggers this line, and when this is on, it triggers that line. And right now we have to manually assign the line for this, and interesting. So this door isn't. What the heck? I think we may have over-engineered. Okay, no, we're good. So basically right now what you see is, right, this square attaches to this line. This square, the other square, this yellow square attaches to this line. And then these two lines together open up this door. And we are there's okay, so I think one of the things that we need to do is actually have the, I think there needs to be these visuals. So this is fine if there's only one set, because it's pretty easy to check, but what gets really complicated is when you have an error like this and there's just a bunch of these. And if you have one of them assigned wrong, it gets to be a bit of a nightmare to try to track it down. So what I would like to do is start to have like visual cues that shows, okay, this square is attached to this line. You know, like maybe this green light, this green sphere appears on the top of this, and then a line pointing to this, likewise when it's connected correctly. And then we would also have from the lines connecting to the door, so I know that that door is being controlled by these two lines. Because actually, right now, it's like we're saying that these two lines open this door, but I could have accidentally assigned these two lines to open this door as well, and I actually wouldn't know that, which can be a bit problematic, like, because I could be putting the squares on this line, and then this door wouldn't open, but this one would be. You can also have the lines control more than one door, which is all stuff we want to allow for from a puzzle design standpoint, but it opens up this it opens up the space where I might accidentally make you make a mistake and you connect two things wrong and actually have a bit of a hard time tracking it down. So what I want to do is actually set up a very visual representation of that. So because it doesn't make sense to be expanding every component and then going down and checking. What it should be is just some visual thing right here in the editor that lets me know. Hey X Tyler, how's it going? I was just kind of explaining some of the editor tools that we're going to implement to make level design a lot easier and to sort of prevent me from making stupid mistakes, or at least to put checks in place to not let that happen. So now actually what we are going to do is actually going to go inside check out our latest water version, which we are almost done now, and I'm very, very happy with it. We have a lot of the basics in place, and it's enough that we can start designing. It looks like we are still running at 20 frames per second. And I don't really know why, but anyway, we'll ignore that. We'll ignore the frame rate issue right now. But anyway, you can see we have, like I was saying earlier, we can use these boxes to redirect the water stream. So, you can see actually, so one of the new things that we've added is, interesting, that's broken right now, actually. Use a profiler. It is, yeah, I am, I do have the profiler, I do use it. I think it's actually just that there's like a number of things going on, and it's kind of not worth my time checking this right now, because I think Chris, the programmer, would have a much better idea of where in the code is causing the issue. Like we can take a look, but I don't think I'm gonna gain too much useful information. You're right, it's like this behavior update. It's our world wrapping which is causing a big problem, but I think that's because that's like this new water world wrapping we're working on, which Chris just pushed the build in, and I think it's still like not working 100% correctly. So I think that's actually where the issue is, and like, with Unity isn't giving me anything more than that right now. So anyway, we'll continue. I just want to kind of go over some of the highlights. So this isn't working right now. It was working earlier, but it had like this nice sine wave when the waterfall came down. So basically the waterfall effect that I am trying to go for what's really funny is if you search for Wind Waker waterfall and you click on images, the first image you click on is actually my website. But that's based on this blog post I shared earlier. But this is now we're not just going to take the Wind Waker waterfall, but I do think it's a very good start for a stylized, simplistic, geometric waterfall look. There's actually a lot of really great detail here. You'll notice one is that this mesh actually collapses on itself at the bottom. So you can see it's kind of got these like long, it's this looping thing, right? But it's like these long streams. And then you can see it folds back on itself. Yeah, I have like the kind of Unity shader stuff. That's like my territory, which is actually very annoying because sometimes when I have a question and I'll be like Googling shaders and I just end up back on my own website. But you can see when it has like a really, so we need to know, there's like a few information that we need to know, right? It's like we need to know when the water is bending off the cliff versus when it splashes down. Because so you can see when it's folding over the cliff, it's got a much smaller this like wave appearance, whereas down here it's got a very big wave appearance. Also notice that there's a bit of this this thing comes. Actually, here's a really nice look: is that it comes out a bit, right? So it's got vertical displacement as well. So it's got vertical displacement in addition to this like vertical collapse. Yeah, it's got displacement in this direction in addition to this like it collapsing itself in this direction. You'll also notice that they have this like these ripples down at the bottom, which is a really nice touch. So where ours compared to ours, this is very basic looking, right? And it just doesn't look as good. And part of that is I think the ripples just look really, really dead. Hello, Red Garlic. How's it going? We were just talking about how nice the Wind Waker water is and how ugly mine looks. But so the idea is like what I want to do is sort of get kind of this basic structure that the Wind Waker water has, where you can tell the side ripples, you can figure out, like you can able to customize each of these components. And then what we do is we would go inside. I think I probably would have to bring on an artist for this because I don't think I can make my own water, and just clean this up so it looks good. And I think certainly also, of course, once we add sound in, that's going to make a really big difference. So yeah, as you can see, so so this is kind of the stuff I was showing you guys earlier, where you can use, yeah, we still have some problems. I do think the fade is a very nice touch, but you can definitely see the water sort of flash quite often. Middle ripples are faster in Wind Waker as well compared to the two side streams. Let me see which your... Oh, right. Yeah. So see, yeah, they have different speeds. So yeah, I think it's like ours is very basic right now. We're mostly trying to get the core mechanics of the water working, and aesthetics is going to come later. So, but you can see it like sometimes the stream, you'll see sometimes like the back end of it disappears, and then sometimes you'll see that it bursts out. Which is not what we want. Like we want this like really smooth transition. Sometimes we get that now, but sometimes it just doesn't work, and I have no idea why. But so you can use cubes. Every cube that you pick up, you can actually bend it and redirect it. And what this does is it lets you redirect the stream, so you can bend its direction, right? And you would look at the L shape on the top of the cube to indicate, so it basically whatever L it comes in from, it'll go out of the other leg. If you are pointing it like this, where there isn't a leg of the L facing it, then it just stops the water stream. So anyway, so one of the things is, and you can kind of combine cubes in different ways to make different water path, and the idea is that this is a mechanic that's introduced much later on in the game, and the idea is that it will. Zach Barth gave a really great talk. Zach Barth of Zachtronics. They made Infinifactory and Space Chem. And you use the term design-based puzzles, which is a puzzle where the solution is based on... Well, the triangle also gives you the information, right? Like, the triangle tells you that that way is down. So there's... It's a very minimalist game. It's a very minimalist style, so that means that every symbol needs to convey information. This is also a very temporary run at the... temporary pass at the art style of the cube. So I think the L obviously needs to be a lot thicker. But yeah, sort of the idea is that these puzzles in the later part of the game would move on to be much more design-based puzzles where you do have to understand systems and you can have like a lot of creativity in how you choose to solve the puzzle. So what's really cool is because the world wraps around, you actually see the water connect back down. Now there is let me just check. Like one of the fixes that Chris implemented was the point at which, and so you can see the water, so down there, and there used to be this like gap right around where the wheel wrapping occurred, and I believe Chris has fixed that, so now it looks completely seamless. It used to be you could like see where, at which point the two world instances, there was like always a small gap, but I actually think that is gone, so that's great. I wanted to show you guys the gap, but I now I can't find it, so I think that means it has... Oh no, wait, there it is. Here we go. I've tracked it down. Ah, okay, so... Right, so... Actually, let me just show Chris. Hey, just a quick note from observation. World edge wrap gap has splash mesh there. So yeah, so this is actually not intentional. I don't think this is supposed to stay there, but as you can see, basically what we've done is we've gotten rid of that gap. I was only able to tell because that splash effect stayed, even though it shouldn't have. Right, so anyway, what we can do with boxes is, so the boxes are part of a larger ecosystem, and what you can do is you can, here this is known as a soil patch, and you can place the box in the soil patch, and then what you do is you can actually direct a stream of water into it, and now that box has actually, you've planted the seed, and it has now grown into a tree with more boxes that you can pick off, which allow you to redirect the stream again. So yeah, we have this gardening mechanic that also basically acts as resource management, and I think also works very well as a gating mechanic. Yeah, I just want to kind of watch the stream come down. And the other thing we fixed is now the you can rotate, you can walk onto water, which is no, I don't want to make a giant swastika out of water. Nah, I don't want to put a swastika in the game. I think Doom guys did that, but I think this is a very different vibe. So definitely promoting symbols of hate is not something I want to do in this game. Actually, regarding swastika, it is. I don't know if you are familiar with the history of it, but it actually used to be this Hindu symbol for Buddhist symbol, which unfortunately got adopted by the Nazis and has a very negative connotation now. But it's it's a shame just because it used to be a very positive symbol. Anyway, you can land on water as well. It's a little harder, but this is doable. So you can use it to. All right, we still have some problems, but yeah, you can rotate onto water, and they act as bridges that you can walk on. Having a lot of problems with this. Might also make the water thicker. Hey, Garlando Bloom, how's it going? We're just kind of showing the water. It's working now. You know, we got basics. Walking on the water when it's inactive. The splash effect. Oh, it is working now, actually. So for some reason it was frozen before, but that obviously needs to look better. But it also isn't. I don't know if you guys, for some of you who was watching the stream last week, you'll notice that the splash effect kind of remained. We had these particle effects, and they kind of like remained in place even after we redirected the water. But now it's now it's not there. So water is. This is very, very ugly looking water, but we're gonna refine it. I mean, the game used to look super ugly in the past. Right, so that is the water system. The other thing is we are probably going to be working very closely with ProBuilder moving forward, kind of just because their tool set is a very, very big part of this making of this game. And we had chatted with Carl, the programmer, today on the ProBuilder team. Thank you. Now it's back to looking really ugly again, but apparently we're like one of the bigger. We're one of like the biggest games that's using ProBuilder very heavily. So they're kind of going to be working very closely with us to kind of like really help us refine the tool. They also have a wonderful in-game editor system. We are actually probably not going to use theirs, though, after checking it out, just because I think David's actually gone pretty far with the current level editor. I don't have anything new to show you with that, so Lee hasn't pushed anything new in today. So what we are... About 2 more years of work. Vampy Vampire. Noise-based distortion. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, I feel like what's gonna happen is we're gonna have really ugly water for a very long time. We're just gonna get it working so I can design puzzles. And once I know I have some really great puzzles and levels, we'll probably do like a deep dive into water aesthetics for about 2 weeks. You know, like again, it would be like the edge detection shader. We wouldn't do anything. We would just be working on shaders, and then we would emerge with gorgeous looking water that I don't even have any idea how it's gonna look right now, but anyway, let's go back to check out the so let's see this. What I want to do is kind of show you guys this like crazy deep dive into yes, that actually, believe it or not, that pun was not intended. So, yeah, I want to kind of show you guys this like weird effect I was getting with this shader over the weekend. So basically, a lot of what I was going for was this. I kind of wanted to make a bunch of like sort of Rorschach test style posters. There's and I actually don't really know what's going on. I'm like not trying to clean up this code because whenever I do it, this effect goes away. But it's really fun because you can play with like simply moving the camera in and out gives me a totally different, like it changes the clipping plane, which kind of is how it's cutting through this. The other thing is you can also start to, so right now there's only one instance that's being shown, right? As soon as we start to draw the duplicates, what we do is we actually have a lot more effects happening, which again leads to, I think, this like these very interesting visuals. And I was just kind of playing around with this all weekend. Now, let me go ahead and, okay, we'll play with this. Now, you can also move the, one of the things like we really need to add is in no clip mode to move up and down. I wonder if this is this in? Okay, no, we haven't programmed it in yet. But, for example, like you can move it up here and end up getting the right alright, here's a really cool image. So basically, this is kind of what I was doing all weekend, right? Except the way I had it was I actually had my oh right. So I had my. You can see by moving the camera, I can sort of scroll through this tower. Well, so by moving the position, and then by moving the camera, you can sort of show how much of the tower you're. I mean, I guess if you're looking at an angle, that you have a lot more stuff that's closer to you being shown as once. And then, of course, with as you start to move closer away from you can see on the right with my camera view, you can see that box. That's the whole clipping distance. And as I'm moving farther away, I'm sort of, some of the stuff further away is getting clipped, and I'm seeing more of the stuff that's closer, which is why the change in the depth value. But yeah, anyway, it just leads to some like really, really interesting abstract shapes. And so one of the things that I started doing that led to some really fun experiments was I was kind of just working on this like whole this like wide view. I'm gonna actually get something to drink. Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. I have not. That's like the grumpy guy? Everyone is like, yeah, when I was a kid, I loved SpongeBob. And now that I'm older, like, I identify more with Mr. Krabs. So anyway, just getting these gorgeous images, I love the depth effect. I do wish I could go inside and clean up the shader, but honestly, I have no idea what is Longview. Why is that song being shared? I love Green Day as a kid. So anyway, I love Longview. But yeah, I absolutely love the way the depth effect looks, that like dark to light at the top, just absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, I'd love to be able to clean up the edge detection shader in here, but when I try to bring in the churn maneuver we came up with, it like I can't organize the code without this effect going away, and I don't know what's causing it. Um, yeah, I think I said Longview. So yeah, this is quite nice. Anyway, what happened was, so you can see I have my camera set at 300, and then what I did was I set it to 200, and then all of a sudden I got like, it started to look like this, and I thought this was so lovely and beautiful. Um, like this is just such a cool sound. I think this is actually maybe a little bit zoomed too much in. I had it at 20. But you know, we can actually, let's go ahead and just have, we don't really need the scene view anymore. But yeah, I just thought this look was lovely, and though one thing I did manage to do was to affect the sort of background color fade into it. So you can see we can adjust. So this is like, all I was doing this weekend and getting those images was I would just like, you just like pan around and like that I don't know, this looks kind of cool. Like all of them look cool, right? Or you can move. You also are just able to move. Actually, you know what, we do need this, never mind. You know what, you could like move this guy up, and also now you see these stairs, and then let's step out a way and kind of watch. Again, I'm just seeing all this like crazy lines get drawn. Right, and I'm like, well, this looks beautiful. I mean, this is like that's a desktop wallpaper right there. Is the game going to have a title screen? Yes. I might do like a rotating title screen. I'm thinking what I would actually like to do for this is, I think once you unlock a level, once you like finish all the puzzles in a level, I think what I'll do is, I don't know if you guys have played The Last of Us or a lot of the PS4 games that have photography mode. And it's kind of really cool. You pause the game and then you have like all these post-processing effects you can play with. You can zoom in and zoom out, and you can move the camera around. And so within the degree, right? Because they don't let you see the entire level, so you can't like skip ahead. But I think what I like to do is once you solve all the puzzles in the level, you can unlock the ability for orthographic projection. And then you would actually have access to all of these shader effects to play with. Like, you would be able to go into photography mode, have access to orthographic projection, play with all these weird, like this would be the sheer glitch effect. And then you can just take screenshots of levels with this. Right, like this is another one. I mean, just look at that. Like, I don't even have to do that much. This looks cool. Wait, I would just go inside. Yeah, I don't know. That looks great. Yeah, that looks cool. You just want it to slowly rotate. I am thinking of doing, I think someone suggested a party mode, which I thought it would just be, I guess we could do two things. Like, I was thinking they would just be falling, but I do think it would be kind of cool to be like, to do, yeah, a party, you know, we could have it where I think, like, Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just have it falling all the time, and that would actually make the player. Okay, so right now it doesn't. Right now it's actually not looping. So eventually we're gonna run out of images. But yeah, it would basically be something like this where you could just you just like look at the game, and it would just be in this like looping mode, and you can just watch on your TV or something. Do I have any ideas of release date? Oh yeah, see this is another beautiful image, right? Let's go with a different color. No. Yeah, no release date yet. I wish I did, but as it turns out, making games is very unpredictable. Yeah, and then, you know, stepping back, I can kind of change the level of... Like, these are some of my favorite shots, was going really low and then capturing some of the... Again, having these lines, like, juxtaposed on top. That's actually pretty cool. So yeah, like I was really cool today because Killscreen actually posted a like Killscreen wrote an article which I thought was really awesome. They did call me Willie Cheer. I told them my professional name is William. But yeah, this made it into a Killscreen article, which I was super happy with. Like, I didn't even know about it. They just wouldn't be amiss among Islamic art. But yeah, I was just having a blast. I'm like, this is just sort of this weird accident that I discovered, and then I just kept like playing around with it. You know, we can actually, I'd say with this one, we can actually zoom in even more. Oh yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, I felt kind of bad because everyone was like, thought these looked really awesome, and I feel like I didn't actually do anything. Because to be honest, I don't even know how the shader worked. Yeah, you know what? Let's. I'm gonna move this scene view out of the way. Like, it helps me see it, but you guys don't need to see it. And I think all it's doing is it's making the scene size. It's making the game view really small. Hey, gentle pair. I actually don't know why like, yeah, I'm a little worried because I hope, like, I think it has something to do with this like weird API thing. I made some mistake in an evolved version of my edge detection shader at that when I go into orthographic mode, it results in the depth pass being drawn, but inverted. And this weekend I was trying to clean it up. So I was like trying to capitalize on this look. I was like, man, maybe, you know, if I understand it, then I can really clean up the lines. but unfortunately, every time I try to clean it up, the effect just went away. So I decided to just leave it and not kind of mess with this like magic combination of shader functions that somehow allowing this to work so beautifully. This is look at this. This is so beautiful. Yeah, like all weekend I was just like, oh wow, look at that, look at that. That's gorgeous. I think we can zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, but this was literally me all weekend. Oh, that's also really, really cool. Let's kind of change the colors up a bit. And again, like every time just changing the colors makes such a big difference. Right? It's like... Like, what is this? Like, this is so cool looking. You see that? Like, you can make all these weird changes. Look at that. Look at that. I don't even know what style this is. This is so, like, new, and gorgeous. Hey, Ishitaris, is this drugs? This is better than drugs. What are some of the mechanics of this game? Well, Somnasin. We were showing this stuff earlier. Let me see if I can go inside the game and show you. This is sort of a bunch of just kind of weird experiments that's happening. But the core mechanic is you have the ability to rotate. This is not what the game looks like. This is all sort of broken, but you have the ability to rotate gravity. So you can choose to walk onto walls and change direction. So if you've ever seen the print Relativity by MC Escher, Relativity, this is where the inspiration for the game came from. It's also like in Inception. I think this one does it. Oh yeah, so like in this scene in Inception where they start, she folds the city over, and I always, this is actually kind of what gave me the idea initially. So they fold the city over in half and they start, so now they got like one side of Paris. So this is like, they start walking up, and I was like, man, I wish they had totally started playing with stuff. Like, what if you took an object from this gravity and connected it with an object from this gravity? What's happening? You know, but unfortunately, Inception actually never played with this, which I was a bit disappointed with. Because like, what if you jumped? What if she jumped onto that car? Right? What if you jumped on that car? Would you ride it down like an elevator, or would you all of a sudden have to like switch onto that wall? Again, they never really played with it too much, but that's kind of where this game, what I wanted to do with the game. I obviously needed to work on kind of, it's more mechanics driven than what Inception is. But let me catch up on. So that's kind of the core mechanics. I'm not doing such a great job just because we're sort of. It does take a while to kind of get set back into this this mode here that we're in. So I don't want to like screw with it. Let me catch up on the chat. Remember the shader trick Andrew was talking about on Friday, feeding the distorted texture back? I think you mean Matthew, amazing Thew. Yep. How do I do that inside Unity? I think what you want to do is actually want to use grab pass and depth buffers. I haven't done it, but I think if that's what you want to do, I would I would take a look at depth buffers and grab pass and see if I would that's where I would start, because I think all he's doing is you just kind of have to have like two textures loaded simultaneously. But yeah, eventually I want to open this up and let everyone play with this stuff. I mean, this just looks so... Oh my god! That's what it is. We rotated gravity. Holy shit! That's why it looks... The colors are so different. Thank you, Somna Sin, because you got us to rotate gravity, because we were always using the always using the blue gravity color, and then I was like the whole weekend, because I never went back, because you can only change gravity direction when you're in perspective mode. You can technically do that in orthographic mode, but it's really hard to see what's in front of you, because like your depth perception is all screwed up. So we were like, we went back into perspective mode, and then made a bunch of changes when I was showing Somna in kind of how the basic mechanics were, and then came out and I was like, where is this beautiful yellow color coming from? I've never seen this angle before. This like beautiful yolk, this like beautiful gold color. And then I remembered it, and then I realized it's this, and it is so gorgeous. Like, my god, look at this. What? So yeah, I definitely want to, I really want to open this up and just let people make, like, especially with PS4 share, can you imagine? Everyone is just like posting all the cool stuff and just going crazy. Everyone's like, man, what is this? What is this? I almost just said the name of, I almost just said the new name there. Because you can do like the PS4 share with the hashtag, but my god, these are gorgeous. These are absolutely gorgeous. I gotta post some of these, man. I'm gonna post these on Twitter and let everyone know. I am a dream inside a dream inside a dream right now, man. We're so... Yeah, I've been really stressed out these last few days because we're sort of like getting everything ready for the name change. Like I'm sort of treating that as like a mini launch. So contacting, well, I mean it's not quite the same, right? We're not putting the game out, but like I need to get a lot of the assets. I am hoping that we get the new name out before the name change is before I accidentally slip on it. Yeah. I know I've been really actually careful about showing you guys my all the different files because I think I have some stuff that's named yeah, so I'm saving these at like a massive size. Marsh Matter, yeah, a name change. It's actually been a long time coming. There was, it's kind of funny because like basically back in, it was sort of based on the Escher painting. That's kind of where the name came from initially. I actually wanted to just make that painting into a game, and the name Relativity has a few problems. One is that people are always going to think of Einstein's theory of relativity. There was the trademark. So basically what happened was I didn't really think about a name, and then in March at GDC, on like during my last day at GDC, my friend sent me an email. He's like, hey, it's this Kickstarter. He's like, hey, I think you might want to know about this. Basically this like small studio in Alabama was doing a Kickstarter for this game Relativity. And I was like, hey, so I just sent them an email. I was like, hey guys, like, my game is coming out on PS4. I've gotten all this attention. Like, like maybe you shouldn't call it Relativity because like my game is, I'm not like famous, but it's definitely more well known. Like their game was like, we're gonna get stuff off the Unity Asset Store. Like, give us $10,000 so we can get stuff off the Unity Asset Store. And but anyway, they didn't, and they just didn't respond. We responded, but they like refused to change the name. It was really weird. They were like, they're like, yeah, our game into time travel, so it doesn't really matter. But so I was like, well, maybe I should look into getting a trademark to protect. And then in searching that, it turns out this movie company, Relativity Media, they made Limitless. They're based, they're like a smaller studio, but they've made a bunch of movies. They actually trademarked the name Relativity in the game space as well. Like they just trademark everything because they're like financing people. So they have it in yeah, they got the trademark in the game space as well, and like in fashion. So it was really shitty. As it turns out, though, they actually went bankrupt. So I guess like that's what I do to my enemies. But yeah. Anyway, they went bankrupt, so I guess that's not really such a problem. But I started looking into name changes, and I really like the new one that we came up with. Where the hell did I save this? Oh, here we go. Yeah, exactly. And like, so basically, the thing is, I can't get the it's like I could always just make a game Relativity and be fine and not have the trademark. The problem is, like, even if Relativity Media doesn't come after me, the problem is I can't protect it, right? It's like if somebody else wants to call their game Relativity, I can't do anything about it. So it's like there's the Einstein issue. Like everyone will always think of theory of relativity. There's the trademark issue. And then the last issue, which was actually the most important to me, was that I was looking at Starseed Pilgrim, and Starseed Pilgrim used to be called Platform Planter. So there's three issues, right? So the last issue, which I think is really the most important one, which is this artistic one, Starseed Pilgrim used to be called Platform Planter, which like, I mean, he could have launched the game calling it Platform Planter. It's very descriptive, and I just feel like it would have been. It's like a lesser man than Draken would have gone with Platform Planter, and that's a name that's descriptive of the mechanic, but it's like a really ugly name. And you compare that to Starseed Pilgrim. You're thinking of Relativity. Oh no, Duet. Okay, yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, it's hard with the single word names. Yeah, I mean, nobody gets my game confused because there isn't really like a big game out there called Relativity, but you know, people make games with the. Yes, it is 2 words. My first choice was actually Starseed Pilgrim, but you think of like Platform Planter versus Starseed Pilgrim, and Starseed Pilgrim is just such a wonderful name. It's like so evocative and beautiful and poetic, and I just think of like, I feel like Relativity is my version of Platform Planter. It was what the prototype was called. It was what the mechanic. It was based on the mechanic, and I feel like the game has gone much farther beyond that. You know, like it's moved on, and I don't. And since everything else in the game has literally gone through this process of like transition, why shouldn't the name, which is the most important thing, right? It's like I even changed from Willie to William. So why shouldn't the game change? So yeah, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, but you got so much press." You've gotten some press, but it's like that's all. This is going to be nothing compared to once the game is out, right? Willie cheers. I do think it would be very funny to call it like the game formerly known as Relativity. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think Marsh Matter is right, and I just feel like I just never felt the thing. Oh, the other thing is like the hashtag on Twitter, on Instagram, and also just like if you just go on Reddit and search for Relativity, it's like you're gonna keep finding all the stuff about Relativity as it should be, right? Like if the game becomes more famous than Einstein's theory of relativity, it would be kind of cool, but I would also be like a little bit worried about the state of the world. So, but yeah, and whereas like I think this new one, and also the new name, I have the best URL. The URL is so good. It's so good. I got this new URL. It's so amazing. It's like one of those really cool, really hip URLs. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Like this is all weekend. I was just like, you're just like blah. Screenshot. I like like that. Let's take that as a screenshot. I don't even know, but this looks like a screenshot. That's a screenshot right there. William Cheer presents a game formerly known as Relativity by the artist formerly known as Willie. Yes. I should just change my name to a symbol like Prince. But then I looked into it, and I think a lot of artists do that. Like a lot of artists go through their states, and sort of reinvent. And actually, you know, for me, this game was actually a whole thing to reinvent myself. I don't know how much you guys are familiar with my previous work, but well, wait, why is this thing massive? But I was actually, prior to working on the game, I was actually a balloon artist. Well, I was an installation artist. I worked with balloons, but I basically had become. I did this for about 4 years, and I'm very proud of some of the work we've done. It was always like for art centers, science museums. I mean, this is just a lovely shot. I think some of this messiness is actually kind of, in some ways, it's almost very similar to the work I'm doing now. But anyway, I'm very proud of this stuff, like these temporary installations. But I was the balloon guy, and I couldn't break away from that, and it was incredibly oppressed. Like, yeah, it was not a really great place to be as an artist. I felt like I mean some of these I was like discovering the style, right? Like these early works were not very well refined, and then I think some of these later ones had like a very strong aesthetic, but a lot of like kind of towards the end of it, all the commissions I was getting was like, hey, can you do that other one but with our company colors? And I was like, well, that's not really what I do, but yeah. I see you're talking shaders again. The shader kids. Shader kids are bad news. I was like, actually this weekend I had to be really careful because so if you guys take a close look at this, you can see it's actually this is actually the old edge detection shader. You can see it's not as clean, right? It's giving me some of those artifacts, but I can't clean it up, and I wanted to like spend all weekend doing it, but I was like, man, I actually have some other stuff I need to work on as well. William Cheer presents a game formerly known as Willie Cheer's Relativity, formerly known as W Cheer's Relativity. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I didn't want to be the balloon guy anymore, so this is kind of, so this whole game has been my way of reinventing myself. So that's all happening, and I used to have short hair too, so yeah. Actually, this is pretty crazy. Like, my hair is pretty long now. I stopped cutting it. I'm not gonna cut my hair. The thing with my hair, actually, I don't know if I've said this yet. I stopped cutting it about a year into development, and the thing, what I'm doing is I'm actually not cutting it until the game is completely finished. So this is, let's see where it is now. So it's like, this is where my hair is right now. And the idea is like, I'm just gonna let it grow until the game is done, and that's gonna be, yeah. And then I think once the game is finished, I'll just like chop it all off. So let's go back into perspective mode, and actually I think now this would be a great time to, yeah, so you can see we actually changed colors, and now that's, longer. were you working on a really long game that took years too? Like at this point, I kind of feel like my hair is the source of my power. You know. Like I'm like kind of afraid to cut it. Ooh, that's a very ugly color. You know what this reminds me a lot of? Have you guys seen the Disney's Hercules? I think that like art style. Like that's actually why you didn't finish it, because you cut your hair. Orlando Bloom cut his hair and then just couldn't code anymore. But this is so beautiful. I don't know how this depth thing is working, but it is freaking gorgeous. Let's actually move this guy around. No, he's still alive. He's still here with us. Oh, cool. Chris just said it was a one-line fix. Just submitted it. All right, Chris just fixed the splash thing we was talking about earlier. Yeah, I guess sometimes you end up getting in these like weird spots where you can't really see much. Although that's kind of cool. That's alright. I think we can definitely get better views. You should finally be able to make levels with water now. Oh, sweet. Thanks. This is awesome. Yeah, water has taken... Why did Slack change their desktop symbol? Yeah, we're gonna start designing puzzles with the water mechanics now, so that's pretty freaking awesome. Yes! Finally. Oh man, I love the stairs. I love the stairs. This is amazing. This is a great shot. This is a beautiful shot right here, right here. Oh yes. I don't know how interesting this is to you guys, but like I could honestly do this all day. So Um, yeah, I mean, I think this is actually what's really really cool about having this like very modular, systematic way of like you can see all the artifacts there, which man, if I can like keep this weird effect but clean up the shader, dang, maybe I should do that. Marsh Matter. They switched the mobile icon a few months ago, and then it changed back. They need to change this. I'm really not a big fan of this. I love the old branding. But yeah, actually, you know what? Let's actually jump to a new level to play with some of that, some of the images. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys. Yeah, like this was literally my entire weekend. I was just like, come back here. Wow, like look at that. No, this is not. Oh yeah. This one's okay. Let me see here. Oh, that is cool. That's cool. That's cool. Right here, right here. Right here. But yeah, hopefully, you know, I want to open this up to everyone, right? Like, I want to let you, after you finish the puzzle, you can just like make this stuff and then post it to your friends or something and like share it. Oh, what is this? What's going on here? Okay, let's jump to another level. It's like two buildings having sex. Oh man, by the way, Salty, you stole my idea of getting inspiration from the manga Blamed using time travel. Yeah, you know what? The thing is, in the future where I came from, Tiny Angry Crab, you are Notch. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna go back in time. Hey, Mitzitel, we're kind of just this like weird edge, just like this weird shader artifact that I discovered over the weekend. Came from a bug originally, and basically what I did was it just looked so cool that we decided to kind of just play around with it and take a bunch of screenshots. Oh, very cool, man. Marshmallow, I'd love to hear about that with the fragmented architecture. We're actually going to be doing a lot of stuff related to architecture. I think it turns out well. You were very Tiny Angry Crab. You were very unhappy as a billionaire. I don't know if you guys saw Notch. I think Notch posted some very personal tweets recently about how he feels almost more isolated than ever, even with all his money. Or rather because of all his money. Anyway, I was actually that reminds me. I've been super stressed out. Although you know what, Tiny and Crab, you should still make your game because Cairo and Ace Sensei are both heavily inspired by Blame as well, as is Avoid. So anyway, that's so all I'm saying is don't let me stop you. So anyway, let's actually, you know what? We're gonna go into perspective mode just so I can do some rotation. Right? Yeah, actually, yeah, right. It couldn't take me back far enough, so I was like, I'll just take Tiny Angry Crabs. Oh, what? Okay, damn, this frame rate is killing me. That was like. Let's go with green this time since we already went with we don't need 15. Let's You know, let's go with let's just go with 3. And we'll switch back into orthographic. Toggle no clip and toggle HUD. Ah. Yeah. Actually, Notch was actually the first time traveler. Uh, okay, I think this one needs to come out a little wider. So yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of showing the like weird glitchy effects we were getting as a result of this. And you know what? I think it's a lot more fun once we start getting the texture stuff added. Yeah, the problem with green is it's such a tough color to mix with. Ooh, this is lovely. Oh, there we go. This is what I'm talking about. This crazy effect. So yeah, I really want to let everyone be able to play with this stuff. Yeah, Starkson. And I'm actually not too sure what's going on. It's like it's in this part of the. I actually thought it was the way you were decoding the depth neural texture, because there's a way where you can like split it up and output both normal values and depth values inside the decoding. And then there's one way that just outputs the depth texture, and I thought it was the way if you just did it where you decoded the depth texture itself. I thought that inverted the y-axis, but I actually couldn't figure out a way. I couldn't figure out why that was. But it actually wasn't. It was just like it was just some really weird thing. I think it has to do with like the way certain function orders are. Do I have ideas for this effect as a counter mechanic? I don't. My game, like the mechanics of the game as it is right now, are already very clearly defined, and is actually a pretty major system. And the aesthetics all go towards it. So I think this is really more kind of tapping into the architectural theme of it, and letting players explore that more. Oh yeah, see, I just remember we can open up the architecture on the inside. What? What? Oh shit. Let's start changing up these colors. We're gonna go back into ortho perspective. Yeah, we're gonna actually, you know what? Let's go into red. Starkson, yeah, hi. Yeah. This was. I was just kind of like my entire weekend basically just consisted of this, and I was having an absolute blast making these. Um, Probably does. We're gonna wait until. Oh, that's lovely. We're gonna wait until some of those stuff is in. It just at this point, it's sort of you kind of have to consider everything from both like a production standpoint as well, and it's for me, coding is just so draining of an activity. Like I love. Oh, this is lovely. Like I love doing stuff like this. I love writing shaders. I love working on aesthetics. I love working on design and visuals. But I'm not very good at programming, and it's just this like very. There are some really great moments, but a lot of times it's just like a very painful experience for me. Oh man, what? What? Hey, Capital City Bananas Mushers. What happens if you try to play these levels? You don't... I mean, these are actual levels. I wouldn't play them inside... I wouldn't play them in orthographic projection, right? Yeah, that's a really nice color, too. You know what? Let's try zooming out a bit more. What? Wow. Whoa. Whoa. That just creates such a lovely effect. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 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 Wow, I love that. That is lovely. Okay, that is also very lovely. Seems the best moments in Programmer are when you write code that works right the first time, or when you fix code that has been working for a while. Yeah, no, it does, and I programmed this for 2 years now, but it's also so like when I talk about production, it's just like what is the most efficient use of time right now, and it's like David is gonna take David or Chris. They'll work on a program problem and it'll take them a few hours to fix, whereas it would take me a few days, maybe, or maybe a couple days. And the thing is, it's like, but they only have to worry about programming, and I have to worry about like marketing and business and design and aesthetics and all that other stuff. That even when I'm programming, I'm like not at the best mindset. Like for this is like very creatively rejuvenating for me. Like I did this for like 12 hours straight on Sunday. But I can't really do that with code nowadays. Just because it's sort of a little bit too exhausting, and then it's like neither Chris nor David could do any of that other stuff. I think these would make for great album art. Oh yeah, oh yeah, let's put on some music. Let's change the color again. I'm getting bored with let's actually go ahead into, let's go back into, we're going to go back into perspective mode. And what the fuck? What the hell is going on? Why is this? For some reason, my mouse is like super sensitive. Maybe William Basinski's soundtrack. I did talk to him. I think he's probably too expensive. But I do have William Basinski's number in my phone now, which is super cool. He's a very cool guy. I really like him. But yeah, I mean, you know, he's sort of a big deal in that scene. No, the thing with that is, so mushroom item in the game that switches to a buggy shader is that it only works in orthographic mode, and then, visually it's just, I think it really is just too much. I think my field of view is 70 in the game. What the heck, guys? Come on! This is so sweet. Yeah, it would just be unplayable, and I don't want that. I don't want to take control away from the player. So that's actually a really important reason for not... So I'm going to turn off this music. Maybe you should play with this shader. This is the shader I'm playing with. What are you talking about with the MIDI controller stuff? It's not... We are going to rewrite the whole MIDI controller setup. Oh, this is beautiful. Wow, look at that. The shadows. Look at the shadows. Oh my god, I can play with shadows in this. What? Okay, hold on a second. Check this out. Whoa. Now we're talking. What? Well, I was thinking I would actually just have Starkson. I was thinking, you know, once you finish a level, I would actually let you open up orthographic projection, and then you can play with these effects. And I might have like a gallery that's included when the game ships that shows a bunch of these. But I also do want to let players like tweak these and see what happens. Oh, I do. So I keep mentioning the thing I was talking about, which is that all this talk about the indie apocalypse of the indie market being super saturated, and it's just uh, been very difficult to read. I actually don't really know what everyone is talking about, to be perfectly honest, just because I don't think of games as like replaceable commodities. You know, like there's only one witness. It's not like another first-person puzzle game isn't going to replace that. So, it's like it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 games on Steam or 1,000,000. I'm still going to buy The Witness and play it because it's The Witness. And it doesn't even matter if someone tries to clone The Witness; it's not going to work. So yeah, I'm not too sure what people keep saying, like, oh, the market is so saturated, and it's like, yeah, but a lot of games are not great, and there are just a few that stand out, and if you're sort of making a run-of-the-mill thing that's following a trend, then yeah, I think you're going to have problems because your game is going to be like a bunch of others. But I think if your game really offers something unique and exceptional that people can't get anywhere else, I don't think you'll have a problem. I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. It's just reaching increased accessibility in its creation, and it's like only the good stuff is standing out, right? You can't, but it's like people are like, oh man, now there's Unity, but it's like I think what we're doing here with Unity is like really, really fantastic, right? Because we're like really understanding what's going on at the basics. We're not just slapping on default shaders or we're doing a bunch of custom stuff. All Unity is doing is just like this thing that combines scripts and this 3D visual thing together. Like I don't like, who cares if this image is made in Unity? It doesn't look like anything else that's out there, and we're not just like slapping stuff together. We're really, really making. Just not sure that a game like Braid would not get lost in the shuffle nowadays. That is true. Maybe. I mean, Braid had some really great puzzles. It is. I mean, it is ultimately about yourself. It's just like, you know, as I've gotten further into development of the game, I definitely have become a lot more conservative in my thinking. Just because it's like, well, it's been 3 years now, and I'm paying programmers. We're going to be paying all these other people. I got funding from Indie Fund, but that is still stuff I have to pay back once the game goes on sale. And certainly, I don't want to just break even. Not because like I'm doing this to make money. This is amazing, by the way. This shot. Look at that. That looks like a Jackson Pollock painting, sort of. But you know, it's like I want to be able to make another game. I want to make something bigger. You know, I don't want to have to like get a job at a studio when it's all said and done. So it's like I do sort of need the game to sell a certain number of units, certainly to be financially sustainable. And just from looking at the numbers on Steam Spy, from kind of these projections that people are making, which is about 4,000 units sold. Like 4,000 units, I'd have to be charging like $100 per unit to really, you know, be in a significant range. So I don't know. Yeah, because it's like if I sell this game for $10, 4,000. I mean, that's 40,000. After Steam takes its cut, I'm left with 30 after tax. It's like 25 for 4 years. But then people say also there's a lot about the long tail. Yeah. It's like when the Decemberists made a studio album. The middle has kind of fallen out, right? It's like definitely the way I see this game is I am on the same level. I'm it might not be as good as The Witness or Firewatch, but I really do think, I mean, actually no, it is. I do think this game is on the same level as The Witness, Firewatch, and No Man's Sky. In terms of the quality and the level of detail that's going in. Like, I do think this game offers something special on the same level as all of those. And what's kind of been really great for me too as a sign is how a lot of people have been very excited about the visuals of this game lately. Especially because like Firewatch was almost seemed to have been conceived from the start based on art style, which and I don't agree with that method of game production. I think because then the aesthetics overshadow the gameplay and the mechanics. So like that's not my philosophy. But yeah, I do feel like if I do things right, it can be on that same level. The discussion seemed to be a triple I. Yeah. Yeah, triple I indie games. Yeah, and I feel like I'm in this weird spot because I feel like I'm a single developer with like zero experience, and I am trying to go for a triple I game. Right. Interesting. Okay, that looks really cool. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, ultimately, worrying really doesn't help, like, at all. Because it's like there's nothing you can do, right? I mean, aside from everything, you just got to do what you think is the best. You know, for me, I think I'm very happy with the visual direction that the game is taking, and I'm just gonna keep. I'm having a great time streaming the game and the community here. I think there's definitely a lot of people that are excited about the game. It's not No Man's Sky or anything, and it doesn't need to be, but I think, yeah, there definitely seems to be a good community of people excited, and to me that's sort of really, really wonderful. Like, to me, seeing that happen makes me confused as to why all indie developers are not keeping an open development process. The way Indie Fund works is they give you so let's say you won like 50,000 from Indie Fund, they would lend you that 50,000 in 2 installments, and so it'd be like 20. They give you 25,000 first, and then 25,000 later, and they actually have no obligation to give you that second one. So it's sort of a safety both for you and for them. It's like if for some reason you just don't make the game, like if your team just totally falls apart, then they only lost half of that money. Or or for you, it's like if you win the lottery, then you don't really need that second amount. So that's all good. So far, I think they've only had to cancel one game, which was Shadow Physics. And then what happens is you only pay back 100% of the revenue goes to Indie Fund after the game goes on sale until that initial capital is paid back. So if I borrowed 50,000, all the revenue that comes in first would go straight to 50 Indie Fund. After that, they take 25% of it until they make another 50,000, and then it's totally off, right? So basically, you pay them back 200%. So it's like a bank loan with 100% interest rate, but you only pay them back if the game sells, and if you don't sell, then it's like you're off the hook, which is great. So it is very low risk, right? It means there's no risk for me. And it's like by the time you pay them back the capital and double that, you would have like sold a significant number of units. They approached it. I had wanted to work with Indie Fund almost since the day I started this project because back in the day, I think when I started this like November 2012, and at the time, this was still before the restructuring. Now Indie Fund is almost totally different. Now Indie Fund is just like a channel through which indies can fund other indies, as opposed to this group of 7, right? And so if you look at a lot of the early games, they were sort of very. I think John Blow had a really big impact on the selection of games. So it was like Fract, Antichamber, Cube, Dear Esther. What else am I thinking of? The Swapper. So definitely very. A lot of them are mechanics driven, and I think very innovative and interesting games. And I think a lot of them still, but it's much wider now. It's not. A lot of games are it's really, like I said, it's more of a channel now as opposed to this like small curated selection. And I know Antichamber had gotten backed by Indie Fund, and they were really the only angel investment group around. So it was like I wanted to work with them. I knew I wanted to work with them, and I met Aaron Isaacson in New York. I went to New York for Indie Katie's in February 2014. And I kind of wanted to talk to him about Indie Fund, but I was like still early on, and I was just hoping the game would catch his attention. And I remember there was like a show and tell, and he was like organizing the thing, so I think he was just like super busy. But I remember he like walked by, took a look, and walked away. And I was like, oh man, he's not interested. But then actually I saw him again at PAX East, and he played it, and he actually gave me some really good feedback. Like he was like. This puzzle's really tedious. And he was like, totally right, I totally fixed it later. But I remember he played it, and then like half an hour he came back, and he was like, man, I can't stop thinking about this wall walking mechanic. Like I'm looking around the convention hall, and all I want to do is walk up the wall. And then it kind of, and he's like, have you ever thought about an Indie Fund? And that's when he asked me, and I was like, yeah. But I was like, but I want to wait until I had a really good demo. So I didn't, and I would kind of saw, you see them at Indicate, saw them at practice. So it was like, kind of we just have these like brief conversations. Like every time I'd see him, he'd be like, hey, have you thought of Indie Fund? And I'd be like, yeah, but I'm not ready. And it then finally last in February of this year, so about a year after I met Aaron Isaacson for the first time, I was like, okay, yeah, I do. I'm at a stage now where I know what the design of the game is going to be, and I want to bring on some programmers to help me. Like I was comfortable with using my own savings and borrowing some for living expenses for my own. And I'm like super frugal. I never go out. You know, it's like I could live on 20,000 a year, but when you start paying people to work for you, that's like you're like burning money. It's insane. It's people is like the most expensive part of a business. And I knew the game was getting to be a stage where I couldn't do it by myself. So I approached them. So basically, all of the indie fund money has gone to pay other people. Yeah, like I'm basically still using my own money. I'm using non-indie fund money for my own living expenses, and I'm not taking a salary, but everyone who's been helping with the project, the programmers and the guy who did the new logo, they're all go through it, and that makes it that's okay for me, just because the rate, it's like it skyrockets. In a way, what's funny is I'll have paid people more money than I actually have ever made working. I had like two sort of jobs before this. One was an internship at an ad agency where I made like $1,000 a month, which is really awful. And then the second was a 6-month contract period. But yeah, both of the programmers now are making much better rates. Oh man, Garlando Bloom. I feel like you could. Garlando Bloom, I'm curious. Like, would you ever consider working at a game design studio? I feel like certainly you have a lot of really great opinions on level design that, you know, I mean, not saying it'd be ideal. Although I suppose the problem with working at a game studio during the day is it's sort of using the same muscles that you would the game. I don't know if I'm going to go to IndieCade this year. I had a really, really, really fun time last year, and it's a blast. But I am the problem with so one thing with having other people work on the game that I didn't quite realize is it forces you, like, you kind of have to be there a lot too, because otherwise, like you need like, if you're not at the office, then they don't really know what to do, and then you're sort of burning money as well that way. So it's like, you know, like when Chris came on board the first time, I was like, the week I was at E3, and I was just like, hey man, like, I'm off to E3, you're on your own. And that I don't think worked out very well. I mean, he's a really smart, talented programmer, but like, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, just based on the way I work and all that, so you do have to be there a lot. So it does mean, like, just traveling isn't quite as easy. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think I can justify IndieCade at this time, because last year IndieCade was really great because I was still trying to work out a lot of the stuff, a lot of the problems with the intro and the aesthetics, and I think I finally got that down. But so it's like, if I go to IndieCade now, I would kind of just be hanging out with people, and I think I'd be better off staying in and getting more work done. Hey, Jet User. Yeah. Yeah, PAX was fun. By the way, I am going to end the stream pretty soon because it is 10:20 now. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for stopping by. This is, I think we got kind of a lot of really great screenshots. I wasn't even really paying that much attention. I was just kind of talking and hitting the capture screenshot key every once in a while. But anyway, some of these I'm really happy with. A lot of these. This is such an ugly color. But anyway, thank you all for stopping by. We're gonna tomorrow. Just a quick note is tomorrow the stream is actually going to be at 2:30 p.m. In the afternoon, so people in Europe don't have to stay up super late. And then also on Friday, there's not going to be a stream. I have something going on, so there's not going to be a game design critique stream on this Friday. But also, anyway, and also I haven't said this yet in the stream, but if you are new and you enjoyed the stream, definitely follow, help the channel grow. Maybe one day Twitch will give me quality setting, the option to change quality setting for viewers so everybody can watch. But yeah, that's really all I want Twitch to do for me. So anyway, I'm gonna end the stream tonight here, and I will see you guys tomorrow, later this week. All right, bye bye.